Good morning, guys. It is Monday, just after the weekend. Got a cup of coffee, and we had an amazing weekend. If you guys have been following the bus adventures, Adventure Bus, we just did the rear fabrication of the back wall. The other thing I did, in order to bring my lovely fiance on some of these adventures, before I finished the interior fabrication, is I had to get a seat. And one of the things, if you guys fall back all the way past a year when we first got the Adventure Bus, I talked about really wanting a van that had normal two front doors, and the bus part would be behind it. There's a Terra conversion that does a really good one. You'll see those in Yellowstone. There's a couple around. They were very low mileage. They were gas. They were not what I wanted. They were more expensive than I wanted. And so I ended up taking the Adventure Bus that you guys know now, knowing that part of my build was going to be removing the school bus door and adding in a passenger chair. I want to have my loved ones right next to me. I don't want to feel like a chauffeur. So quick little shots. Let me know in the comments below if you want to know exactly how I did that. But we got a passenger chair in. The back wall's fabricated. I even threw up a spare gas can of the rotopax on the back wall. We talked about that in the rear fabrication. I showed you a quick shot of that. I'll put one in now. And we gassed up and we hit the road. Unbeknownst to us, that Friday was also National Donuts Day. So as we came through Bend, Oregon, on our way to Oakridge to the bus fair, we stopped and had a donut. Went down. That thing drives great. This has been the longest trip I've done since I bought it in Medford, Oregon, which is in southern Oregon. The biggest trip I've taken in the bus is merely driving it back to my hometown. So this is going to be our first get the thing on the road, see how everything works, make sure everything is working the way it was supposed to. Head down 97, we went up and over the pass. It got super rainy, super cold. Busted great. The only thing I realized that I'm not sure, we still haven't had it sort of tuned up or anything. It's a 7.3 turbo diesel, but as soon as I hit the top, that thing cools so easily that when I was coming down the backside of the mountain in Oakridge, I noticed that when I was coasting and I had to get back on the gas, it was very sort of sluggish, poppy, and you could see there was a lot of white smoke coming out. So I'm still getting extra fuel, and of course that temperature dropped way down. That 7.3 cools really easily. As soon as we hit that cold rain, all of a sudden all that heat I built up going up the hill, and it did great. 65, 70, obviously it's pretty empty still right now. No problem for the 7.3 diesel. So we made it into Oakridge that night. We got checked in, very rainy, checked in on Friday. The bus fair itself was only happening on Saturday. So they did have some live music and a few bars and breweries and things that had events going on in town. We decided to go find a nice camping spot. I've got some roads that I've been on before on the motorcycle that we took up. The nice thing about the Adventure Bus over a large schoolie conversion is I can take this thing anywhere. As you see, you go up middle of nowhere roads, you just keep going until you find a good camping spot. Oregon is filled with amazing camp spots. I wasn't really worried about finding that. Some folks at the bus fair were very nice. They were trying to point out pull-offs on roads that you could fit on to camp for the night, which was very sweet, but I don't think they realized that we were in a nice small, adventure van that could fit up any roads. I wasn't really worried about it. I got good clearance now that I've got the lift. So up we went. We found a beautiful spot, cut down a little bit of dead wood, fired up the BioLite stove, had some hamburgers, and of course, as it does on the west side of the Pacific Northwest of the Cascades here, it started raining. And so we got chased inside. I didn't set up a tarp or anything. I probably could have, but we just went inside to finish our dinner and got a good test of the window conversion. Found a few leaks, so we're going to be remodifying those just a little bit. I know I probably talked about it before, but man, I got to get that figured out. But one thing I learned about going to bus fair is nothing can't be solved with more sealant and more paint. When you look at your Instagram friends on all these beautiful school bus builds, when you get them up close, they're not as pretty up close. They're pretty rough and tumble in a lot of spots. So as far as my fabrication skills and finishing skills, I'm not too worried about it. We're going to get that thing plenty sealed up and ready for adventures. So woke up the next morning, came into town, decided to stop at cute little bakery shop, throw in a few photos. We actually had some homework to do. Fiance is at nursing school. She was working on some studying for her Kaplan test. And so we got a little bit of Wi-Fi, and then we went to the bus fair. And a couple quick shots, but there's lots of folks out there. If you search for bus fair, they did drone shots and huge videos. It was a bit of a social media festival. They had a few presentations going on, a few stories, some live music, some great local beers and distilleries. It was a very cool event. We'll probably go next year. I really enjoyed it. Didn't get as much time with some of the folks on the buses as I'd hoped. But the other thing I realized is really some of the schoolies are, I mean, everything from 5 kids being homeschooled and kind of an off-grid situation with all this solar, thousands of dollars of solar and lithium. You can do anything you want. So some of these are truly off-grid, which I appreciate. And then there were a lot that was still relied on being plugged in everywhere, which is a great sort of mobile home. It's a great sort of get off the thing. You don't want to buy property. You want to be able to move it around occasionally, but you're not necessarily traveling and hitting back roads in your schoolie. And there was a little bit of everything mixed. Some were on veggie oil. Some had huge solar. Some bought a bus that was already built for them. You know, it was really cool, but they didn't do any of the work. So it was a huge sort of mix. Some of the smaller schoolies, again, also reaffirmed the reason I didn't buy a short schoolie is they are very short. I'm 6'4", and my bus is perfect because I can actually stand up in it. So it really has a little bit of everything, like van life or anything. There's a little bit for everybody. The second night after van life finished, we decided to go camping again. So we cut and run around 6 o'clock. Went to go find a nice camping spot. There are some hot springs nearby, and so we had plans to go visit them in the morning. Really nice ranger let us know there was signs that were down for the winter private property, so our first camping spot was already taken. We continued on up the road, and of course, again, found a little spot, just pulled into the tall brush. There was already camp ring that was overgrown. Fired up the BioLite stove, had an amazing sort of chicken skewer. It was perfect. I'm going to wrap that up here. Man, beautiful place. Oakridge is gorgeous to get out there into the backcountry. Successful trip, no breakdowns with the bus. Lots of things learned, lots of cool buses seen, and I highly recommend checking it out. We'll catch you down the road, guys. This has been Beast with the break-in trip of the adventure bus. More coming up. Let me know what you want to see. Comment down below.
Thanks for all the love and support. You guys are amazing. Please like, share, and subscribe. Follow the adventure on social media, and we'll see you on the road.